Well, the famous theologian and preacher John Wesley, when he would get a group of people together for Bible study or prayer time, would ask the group the question, how is it with your soul? And it's a great and profound question because it's asking people what's going on deep in your heart, deep in your soul. How are you really feeling? And in this time that we are facing and going through as people and as a country and as a world, there's a lot of things going on in our hearts and our souls. We can some days feel really great, but often days right now we can be filled with anger or frustration or fear or worry. And underlying all of that, whether we're feeling angry or we're feeling filled with fear and worry or stress about the future or even the present and just how we're going to get through today, what underlines all of that in our hearts and our souls is a lack of peace. What we're really chasing after in those moments and in those feelings of fear and anger or worry and stress is some sense of peace. Peace for here and now and peace for tomorrow. And the Apostle Paul, when he was writing to one of the many churches that he started and pastored, he shared some words of comfort in a concluding statement. He was basically praying a blessing over them as he was finishing his letter to them. And it's a wonderful promise and reminder for you and I about how do we find that peace that we're searching for. Because even if we're not thinking about it or feeling it, that's really what we want. See, we want the anger to go away. We want the fighting and the quarreling to go away. We want the bitterness to not be in our hearts anymore. We want the fear and the worry and the stress to not be burdens that we carry anymore. And so what we're really looking for is how do we get that peace that lasts for today and tomorrow. And the Apostle Paul says it this way at the end of 2 Thessalonians. It says, "Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way." And I love this description of who our God is, that he's not just a God that can give peace every once in a while when we're asking for it or praying for it or we're struggling for it. And he just hands it out of like, oh, you could use a little peace today, so here's a little bit. But he is the Lord of peace, means he's in control and over all things, that he is the Lord of peace. He's ruling and reigning. He controls peace, which means that when you and I go to our God, the peace that we are looking for, not only will we receive it, we will never run out of it because he's the Lord of peace. It's not like there's a finite amount, a limited amount of peace, and God can only give out certain amounts to each and every one of us. But since he is the Lord of peace itself, he's able to give it to us abundantly, that he'll never run out of it. So when you and I are so desperate in our emotions, when our souls are so weighed down and heavy that we're striving and struggling and searching for peace, the answer is found in God himself because he's the Lord of peace. And when we go to him for peace, it's a peace that never runs out. So it's a peace that is good for our souls today and tomorrow and next week and even next year and the year after that. And then Paul says this, and in every way. So God give you peace at all times. But I love that phrase, and in every way. So peace in our homes, peace in our relationships with our spouses, peace in our relationships with our parents, peace in our relationships with our children, right? As we continue to kind of be sheltered in these finite relationships where we can't go out the way we used to, we can't have all the same interactions, you might notice that there's a little bit of a lack of peace in your immediate family. And so in every way, God offers us peace. So peace in the home, peace in our work. Maybe there are layoffs and job loss, there's furlough, there's extra stress at work. And Paul is saying because God is the Lord of peace himself, he's able to give you peace even in those circumstances and situations. How about peace in our country? Peace in politics. What if we prayed for the Lord of peace himself to put an end to all these hostilities and all the fighting and back and forth, and then there was actually peace between people? So when Paul prays this prayer and this blessing on the church and over you and I, it's not a small, little whimsical thing of, well, I hope that works out for you. It's a bold promise and prayer because it relies on our God, not a God who is limited in his ability to give peace, but the God who is the Lord of peace himself. And so in all things, in all times, and in all ways, God is able to give us peace. So my hope and prayer for you is that that peace that you are desperately searching for, that you would search for it in our Lord and in our God. And that you would know that you can find it in him, and that his peace is not limited. And that he will give you peace at all times and in all ways. God's peace to you.